"Dad, please, stop," she whispered through her tears, her voice broken. "You don't have to be like this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but it hurts so much. I don't know what to do anymore." Grace sat by the window, staring out at the sun as it slowly sank behind the hills, casting long shadows across the yard. She had been there for hours, waiting for something to change. Maybe her dad would come home, maybe he would finally notice her again. But as she looked out, there was nothing but silence. She remembered the time when David, her father, used to carry her on his shoulders, laugh with her, and tell her everything would be okay. She remembered when he would tickle her until she begged for him to stop, and he would smile, saying he loved her more than anything in the world. But those times felt like they belonged to someone else now, someone from another life. Now, things were different. Ever since Sarah, her father's new wife, came into the picture, Grace had felt invisible. Her dad didn't look at her the same way anymore. He didn't laugh with her or tell her he loved her. Instead, he barely spoke to her at all. Every time Grace tried to talk to him, it was like she was speaking to a wall. He was too busy, too distracted with Sarah, to even notice that she was still there, sitting quietly in the corner, hoping for just a little bit of his attention. Grace's heart felt heavy. She didn't know what she had done wrong. She didn't understand why her dad didn't love her anymore. Was it because of her? Was it because Sarah didn't want her around? Was it because she wasn't the daughter her father needed? Tears welled up in her eyes, but she quickly wiped them away. She didn't want to cry, not anymore. Crying never changed anything. It never brought her father back. That evening, Grace sat at the dinner table, pushing the food around her plate. The silence at the table was deafening. David was there, but he didn't speak to her. He didn't even glance in her direction. His eyes were always on Sarah, who sat beside him, her hand resting on his arm. Grace felt like a shadow, barely visible to anyone. "Grace, eat your food," Sarah said, her voice cold but firm. "You're not going to sit there and waste dinner, are you?" Grace looked up at her. "I'm not hungry." "You better eat. You don't want to make your father angry." Sarah's words were sharp, but Grace didn't care. She didn't care about anything anymore. David didn't say a word. He didn't even look up from his plate. Grace could feel the tears starting again, but she didn't let them fall. Instead, she pushed her food around some more, trying to keep her face from showing the pain she felt inside. The days dragged on, and Grace felt more and more invisible. She no longer went to her father for comfort. She no longer told him about her day or showed him her schoolwork. Every time she tried, he dismissed her with a quick, "Not now, Grace," or a simple, uninterested nod. The girl who once had her father's attention now had nothing but his indifference. One night, as she lay in her bed, staring up at the ceiling, Grace felt something she hadn't felt before, something deeper than sadness. It was emptiness. She didn't belong anywhere. Her father's love was gone, and no matter how hard she tried to win it back, she couldn't. He didn't see her. She didn't matter anymore. She pulled the covers over her head, hoping that the darkness would swallow her up, make her disappear. It was easier that way. To disappear. It was a few days later when Grace found herself outside, walking aimlessly down the street. The sky was dark, and the wind tugged at her clothes. She didn't know where she was going, but she just couldn't stay in that house anymore. She couldn't stay where she was constantly ignored, where her father didn't care. She felt the tears welling up again, but she couldn't cry anymore. Crying was useless. Her father didn't care about her tears, and neither did Sarah. As she wandered, she stumbled upon a small park with swings. The swings creaked in the wind, and Grace hesitated for a moment before walking over. She sat down, pushing herself gently with her feet. The motion was coming, but it did little to ease the ache in her heart. "Why don't you love me, Dad?" she whispered to the empty air. "What did I do wrong?" She stared at her feet, swinging slowly, back and forth, back and forth. She thought about all the times her father had held her, kissed her forehead, and promised that everything would be okay. It all seemed so far away now, like a dream. A dream that had shattered, leaving her with nothing but broken pieces. Grace couldn't stay at the park forever. She eventually made her way back home, her heart heavy with the weight of loneliness. As she opened the door, she found David and Sarah sitting on the couch, talking quietly. They didn't look up when she entered. "Grace, where have you been?" David asked without even glancing at her. "You didn't even tell anyone where you were going." "I'm sorry," Grace said quietly, her voice barely a whisper. She wanted to say more, to tell him how much she needed him, how much she wanted him to notice her again. But the words wouldn't come. He wouldn't listen. He never did anymore. "Go to your room," Sarah snapped. "Don't make a scene." Grace turned and walked down the hallway, her steps slow and heavy. When she reached her room, she shut the door behind her and locked it. She sat on the bed, hugging her knees to her chest. The tears came again, this time unstoppable. She didn't try to stop them. "Dad, please, stop," she whispered through her tears, her voice broken. "You don't have to be like this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but it hurts so much. I don't know what to do anymore." But there was no answer. No one came. No one heard. The following days passed in a blur. Grace no longer felt like a little girl. She felt like a ghost, walking through the motions of life without really living. Her father was a stranger to her now. Sarah was a constant reminder of how little she meant. Each day felt the same. Her father barely looked at her, his attention consumed by Sarah and the life they were building together. Grace wanted to be a part of that life, but it felt like there was no room for her. At school, she pretended everything was fine. She smiled when she had to, kept her head down when the teacher spoke to her. But inside, she was falling apart. The sadness had become too much to carry, and she didn't know how much longer she could keep pretending. One evening, Grace found herself standing in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. She didn't recognize the girl looking back at her. She was thin, pale, and her eyes were tired. There was a dullness in them, a lack of light that used to be there. She didn't know who she was anymore. She thought about running away. Maybe if she left, things would be better. Maybe if she could find someone who cared, someone who would listen to her, she wouldn't feel so alone. But then she thought about David. She thought about how much she still loved him, despite everything. She thought about how much she missed him. She just wanted him to look at her, to see her again. "Please, Daddy," she whispered into the empty room. "Please love me again." But she knew, deep down, that he wouldn't. The pain never went away. Days turned into weeks, and Grace's world remained empty. No matter how hard she tried to win back her father's love, it never worked. The sadness inside her grew heavier, until one day, it felt like too much to bear. Grace sat by the window once more, staring at the setting sun. Her heart ached with the realization that she would never be the little girl her father once adored. She would never be the one he rushed home to see. She was just invisible. And in that moment, she felt something more painful than any physical wound. It was the feeling of being forgotten. Of being lost. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Make sure to turn on the post notifications so you never miss an update from us. We have exciting new videos coming your way soon. Thank you again for being part of our community. We look forward to bringing you more valuable content.